Real Nerds is a proud partner of the Denver Podcast Network. In the shadow of the mountains, we speak.
Hello, everybody. I'm JD Lopez, the host of Left Hand Right Brain. It's a free-flowing, wide-ranging conversation that I have with artists doing interesting and creative things here in Denver and beyond. We talk about their personal stories, break down their creative process, and what motivates them. Spoiler alert, it's mostly spite. We talk about all these things and more while kicking back, cracking wise, and always having a good time. You can find old episodes and everything you need to know at lefthandrightbrainpod.com.
Oh, hi, podcast listeners. There's many ways you can listen to the Real Nerds podcast. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can also subscribe on Stitcher Radio. You want to send us a Twitter message? You can do that. It's so easy, at Real Nerds. Like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com, where there'll be a lot of articles for you to not only read, but to listen to our previous shows. You can also call us, 720-6nerds5. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Dave Callahan, creator of Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
And this is Peter Atencio, the director of Jean-Claude Van Johnson, and you're listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic Con 2018 and beyond. I am Ryan. With me is...
Who are you pointing to?
I'm pointing to you. I'm like this.
Oh, Brad.
And
Zach.
And every week on Real Nerds Podcast, we go see a new movie and we podcast our experience to the world. This week, we were debating if we should see two movies, but I only saw one because, and I'll explain why when we get to it. So this week's movie is I, Tonya. So stay tuned to the end of the show where we'll review I, Tonya. Tell you if you should see it or not, and then spoil the movie. Can you spoil someone's life?
No.
No.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, the book's on the shelf at Walmart.
This event is like, what, 20 years old?
More than that. I think it's 24, 25.
Yeah.
Roughly around there, yeah.
And you could not escape it then.
No.
So
You certainly won't now.
You know, it's one of those things you always remember the Nancy Kerrigan, why? I just always remember that.
I feel like we're mocking her in a weird way.
Well, come on.
We'll talk about it later in the review.
Yeah. We also talk about Blu-rays that are coming out, movie news, stuff we've watched. That's what we do. We're a movie podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I'll try to be okay. I'm still sick, and I can't.
Oh, that's why you sound a little different on the headphones.
Probably. I can't. My focus is always in the clouds because it's a head cold, and I've had it for a week and a half.
So the bacteria is eating at your brain, basically.
Pretty much. If I start a zombie plague, though, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Do you favor subsidies to the brain slug planet?
So if I go lay on your bed right there, Zach, and I put a sheet over my head and it slowly comes down, just know that was stolen from Dawn of the Dead.
When the CDC declares a state of emergency, they're going to call it people have gotten the frost.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'd be patient zero.
That's right.
That is so cool.
But then they're going to cut you up to find a cure.
That's all right.
You'll never have a grave.
But when they...
An unmarked grave, I guess you get.
Then they'll be like, we put that frost on ice.
Yeah. Copyright run this project.
Its effect on the mortality rate was chilling.
Hey, this is our first show of the new year.
It is.
2018.
How'd you guys celebrate 2018?
We'll talk about it in what we've been watching. But after that, just chilled out with the family and then went to bed early. We didn't even stay up for midnight.
I had to work. I picked up my boy from his grandparents. I went home, watched 3 episodes of Veep, and went to bed.
I was working on the computer, and then I went and saw Thor Ragnarok. So.
There you go.
That's not a bad gig.
Yeah.
Okay, you have a fun day at work, buddy.
So you sent him to the labor camps already.
Is it bad that he dreams of being a garbage man? Or I was watching a report on CNN. The garbage men in New York make $100,000 a year because they have to work so much overtime and nobody wants to do the job.
And it's not as easy as
going
down some back alley. They put all this trash in the main sidewalk where everyone walks.
Oh,
so
yeah, no, that's a hard job. It's also like being a delivery person. You know, if you deliver to Target, King Soopers, that's a hard job.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
a lot of people who have a lot of different work injuries as a result of working that profession in general. So
yeah, it's
exhausting.
Good for them. Brad, is there anything happening around town?
Hey, film buddies, follow me around Denver.
I would sing, but I can't hit the high notes with my cold.
Sing like a low, like Tom Waits style song.
That was porn.
No. I was trying to do like his different variation of instruments.
Nope.
Banging a bone on a pot. Whatever. Forget it.
No. Tom Waits is like the movies and they're going to town. But there's a man in a street corner, and he has his rich slit because Ray's parents were nobodies.
I like the idea of Tom Waits discussing Last Jedi.
Why'd they have to kill Snoke? Kylo Ren is just an angry brat.
and Luke brushed off his attack like it was nothing.
He pretended to be there, but he wasn't.
Is it as good as Dr. Parnassus, which is what I was in? Anyway.
All right, what's going on around town? The 20th anniversary of The Big Lebowski is the midnight.
Hey, man.
At the Esquire this week.
Mr. Lebowski, dude, or El Duderino, if you are not into the whole brevity thing.
I'm not.
I like that movie. It's
not
not the best Coen Brothers
It's
movie.
one of those movies that's super overrated, and it's really popular, and I have no idea why.
It's a long discussion.
Yeah.
I still
know
don't.
why.
It's not the best Coen Brothers film, though. Like I say, it's a fun one.
I think Lady Killers is better.
I actually agree.
And then
You brought your bitch to the Waffle Hut?
And then, as we mentioned last week or the week before, Open Screen Night is January 30th, and Riddler's Podcast is sponsoring a extra prize for that show. So, if you can make a 2 to 10 minute short based on the 16-bit challenge theme of the month and include the phrase "All your base are belong to us" in your film, then you have a chance to win a $50 Amazon gift card.
All right. I'm going to submit an iPhone video, and it's just that.
Great. If no one else challenges you, you will probably win. And then we will get to keep that money.
Nice.
I'll do the art house version of it in black and white in French.
You just ask him to send him your video, and then you just put the Instagram moon filter on it and then turn it in.
Les bases belong à us. I don't know French. I'm so amazed that you do, and you just hate French cinema at the same time. Like,
well, I think French cinema is pretentious.
He did go to a French monument and sit in a coffin, so that shows you how much
whoa,
he loves.
whoa. It was a 500-year-old church, and I went into a pope's sarcophagus. Let's get the story right. There is photographic evidence of this on my Facebook page.
I don't want to see the photo. I just want to imagine it as a cartoon version of you.
Well, and technically, the photo is just me like standing. I guess I'm still in it, but like you never see me actually get in it. So,
yeah, like the photo shows you not in it, but you know what you were doing.
Well, to be fair, everything I just said is true.
Yes, I desecrated a pope's burial underneath a church.
Who cares?
There's a bunch of other people in there too. It's not like his body was actually in there. I know this because the coffin was empty.
I know it was empty because I threw the body out.
I'm just imagining like a Tintin style comic, but it's like shittier and with Ryan in it.
I'm the bad guy in the new Tintin.
It's to stop some American from desecrating sarcophaguses.
But no, it would be better if I'm American who does a fake French accent. I will step inside this coffin and I will sleep here all night long.
Snowy, I don't think he knows what French sounds like.
Sacre bleu.
Snowy, someone took a shit in the sarcophagus.
He's
I strike again.
he's not even smoking. He's just miming cigarette smoking. That's what French people do.
And smoking gives you cancer.
Do not challenge me because I will give up very fast. I just looked at the Alamo schedule they sent us, and they don't have anything for next week besides movies that are in wide release. So log on to alamo.com/Denver to check out what's playing at Littleton and Sloan's Lake.
Actually, drafthouse.com/Denver.
That's what I said.
You said alamo.com.
That's what I said.
You'll probably take you to a car rental site.
Well, make sure you go to the basement of the Alamo and
Yep. Always visit the basement of the Alamo.
Yes,
when you're in town.
But I know they have. I think they have. I know they have a movie party coming up. Sorry, I don't know it off the top of my head.
I mean, there's cool stuff coming up. Like there's a Predator party coming up or something.
Yeah, but they didn't send the press release they sent me. Didn't have any of the new stuff on it.
Yeah.
They're going to show Disco Godfather and Coffee. Disco Godfather at Littleton, but Coffee at Sloan's Lake. So.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, I did see the thing for Coffee.
Yeah.
So make sure you just log on there. You can see showtimes. Also sign up for a Victory account. They give you a bunch of free stuff. I have like a free wrap, free popcorn, free soda, and like a free shake that are just sitting there.
Wow. I haven't gotten anything in like a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe make sure you ask them.
Like I get the Victory screening invites, but as far as like $5 for burger, like I haven't gotten like a little
really.
coupon
I think I get it every time I
time.
go. Make sure you ask them. Sometimes they just never say anything to you.
Well, I check my account a lot, and there's just nothing in there.
I never check my account, and they just give it to me.
Mm.
Maybe they just like me better.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that's what it is. Blame me.
What's happening in the world of movies in a segment we call Real News?
It's real news.
Well, guys, they're tiny, or no, they're not Tiny and Toony. They're Animaniacs, and they're coming back to Hulu for a 2-season pickup.
Yeah,
so
that'll be fun.
I thought it was for Netflix at first, though, but I guess that didn't.
Maybe
happen.
Spielberg's like, "Fuck Netflix." Mm-hmm. Does Spielberg have any movies on Netflix?
I
don't think
he's
he
had
does.
a
The BFG's on there.
and
but
ET,
that's Disney though.
and ET, but I mean they fluctuate. I think Jaws is also on there right now too. So
Yeah.
I'd like some more obscure stuff like Warhorse to come to that.
I think Jurassic Park movies are on there right now too.
So I'm a liar. All right.
What else is new? There's not much else really other than we got a couple of new trailers. One of them is Jean-Claude Van Damme in Kickboxer Retaliation, and he smokes a pipe in it.
Following Vengeance, which
Yes.
was one of the worst movies of 2016.
I'm not sure what they're retaliating against because they killed everybody that they.
Well, did you watch the trailer?
wronged them. No,
It's like an MMA fighting one. It's not even really kickboxing.
so like the last one.
Yeah. But then and Van Damme only shows up at the end, so I think it's a lot like the last one. Maybe even less Van Damme though.
Probably.
And then like the last thing, which I thought was cool, is superhero movies have been landing some more nominations in the award circuit, guys. WGA nominated Logan, and the PGA nominated Wonder Woman. So they're breaking through the mold. We're on our way to Avengers: Infinity War winning Best Picture next year.
This year.
No, because it would run through this year, and then next year it would get the award physically.
You know, to pull off those movies, it was pretty impressive. So
Yeah, and
maybe they should deserve more credit than they get.
Yeah, I'm glad the guilds at least recognize them because it seems like the ones that are televised don't seem to give a shit. So
Well, until snooty people like Henry and Art House Asshole this week changes their tune, then we'll get it. But here's Henry with Art House Asshole.
What's up, nerds? Henry giving you an update on Art House Asshole. This week we watched a film called Faces Places. It is directed by J.R., that's his full name, and Agnes Varda. Both of them are pretty big in the art world, and this film was funded by MoMA. So if that tells you everything you need to know, then yeah. It's basically about the two of them going around Europe and making art. Personally, not my cup of tea. I thought it was a little too we're so great, kind of in a way, and a little too, like, oh, we're not going to show you my... Anyway, it's hard to explain, but you can read my full thoughts on realnerdspodcast.com. But in general, I was not a fan of it, which is surprising, considering it's one of the frontrunners to win Best Documentary, and everyone seems to love it, calling it one of the best films of the year. But you know me. I don't like things that people like. But anyway, that is this week's episode, and yeah. Don't really have much more else to say about it, but yeah. You can check out that review on RSasso.com. I don't have a website, on realnerdspodcast.com. And other than that, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Henry, even he doesn't get that last one.
It's Faces Places?
It's a French film, so automatically it's out for Ryan. But it's a filmmaker and a famous photographer go through parts of France that are little known and do segments on that each particular town.
That sounds like the most god-awful movie I've ever heard of.
We know Henry just said it. So. Thanks, though.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm always the one thing I do love that Henry is doing this is it saves me from having to see him. Not that I ever would, but if one time there's oh, we have nothing to see this week, let's see this French film about a guy who talks to other fucking French froggies and.
We're at Denver Comic Con, we're doing a panel, and then some asshole in the crowd stands up. He's like, "Your podcast isn't legitimate because you only go see mainstream shit." And then we're like, "No, we've got Henry."
Yes,
and he's seen every art house movie ever made.
Our correspondent that goes off the path.
You know, I was thinking for Comic Con too. We should sign up for another panel, but we should do it different this year. Think of a fun panel. I don't know.
Was last year's not fun?
No, it was. I'm just saying, change the format.
Yeah, well, we got invited to that, but if you want to go on the website and submit an idea,
I know I have to think of an idea first. That's the problem.
I was gonna say,
dress rehearsal. That sounds like a fun idea.
Do we also sign up for media passes, even though we have a?
We will. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. I need to know those dates, but anyway.
15th through the 17th of June.
Okay, cool then. I'm booking them.
I think it's Father's Day weekend again.
Yeah.
Cool.
I know this because the next week James gets married.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be on our own planning that convention.
It's all right.
He's going to be a little busy.
It's all right.
You should just be This Is Your Life for James.
We should do at the panel. We should do an in memoriam for James.
We should.
We got one of our longtime podcasters is leaving us. It's no, I'm just getting married. He will be missed.
And then make sure we get take a picture of him on Facebook, a good one, and change it to black and white.
Awesome.
That'd be the perfect time to do that trailer project that I've been writing, where it's the ultimate James Hart movie, where it's basically it's Matthew McConaughey plays a banjo playing astronaut who has to go to the moon to save the dragons. And they have to drink Mountain Dew at the same time. It's basically everything he wants in a movie.
All right.
And I just realized a new portion of it's going to be from director Dennis Vanilla Ice.
I need to go to the moon and play this banjo, so all those dragons can wake up and fight the robots with me down on Earth.
I also realized he needs to have an obstacle in his way. So I was like, what if he grew up fat as a kid and then suddenly blossomed into Matthew McConaughey, and there's one thing I learned being fat, you have to have a big heart, even though you got a big ass. Something like that, something inspirational has to be placed in there.
What does Matthew McConaughey living on the moon say when the sun rises?
I don't know.
All light, all light, all light.
But anyway, cool.
We also purchase movies in a segment we call "What to Fucking Buy" this week only.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
No, it's not even releases. It's what we're buying. So that's 0 for me.
Well, we can all float down in the sewers with it on 4K and Blu-ray. There's a couple different versions, actually. It seems like Walmart's getting a different cover than other people are. And then
Best Buy's got a steelbook.
Yeah. Steelbook is. Yeah.
And then Criterion's putting out Young Mr. Lincoln, a John Ford film.
I know, it looks good. Never seen it, but interested.
You'll like it. It's
well, when Barnes and Noble has their half off Criterions, I'll be there.
There you'll be. Jackie Chan and Pierce Brosnan in The Foreigner. You can check that out on
I do
Blu-ray.
want to see that. I heard it's better than people give it credit for.
Yeah.
Or
Jackie
people did
Chan's
give it credit, but no one saw it.
Jackie Chan's really good in it. But the story is just not that compelling to me.
For sure.
How about
if
you dump it at the trash place?
If you guys liked the Beatles and Jim Sturgis almost 10 years ago, then you can see Across the Universe in 4K, which I guess makes sense because
the
it's
weirdest movies in 4K. I was looking at the 4K display, and it's like Sicario, get it, and then Wild.
Wild could make sense because it is very it takes place outside. There's room for color potential.
I know, but to me
Across
it seems
the Universe is visually impressive.
Yeah, but it's just a weird. I don't know. They pick weird movies.
Yeah, the selection process has always been strange.
To me, it seems like they're picking movies that they believe females like, so females will adapt the technology as well.
All those females holding out on 4K.
Yeah. What, you saying they don't? Whoa, you sexist asshole.
And
But you just said
No, I said that. I said those guys. That's like a marketing thing. They think. I don't think that, except when I see
attributed
it.
those two movies to all women. Like maybe there's some men that like Across the Universe. And,
Maybe they do.
and Wild.
I'm one of them. I don't hate the movie. Kino Lorber's putting out some pretty cool titles. The Wild Heart, Inherit the Wind, and one of my favorite films of all time, Judgment at Nuremberg. So you can check those out. Inherit the Wind's actually really good too.
9.
And then, also they're putting out the Young at Heart. And Shout Factory's putting out 68 Kill, which I guess is one of their own releases.
I watched a trailer for it. It's like it's more like a crime thriller, and it's on the Scream Factory label. But it's I know this lady wants her boyfriend to kill this client of hers who has $68,000.
Okay.
It got a audience award at SXSW.
Oh, South by Southwest? Okay. Yeah. And then the last two titles, Intermezzo, A Love Story, which is a movie with Leslie Howard, which is actually really good. It's from the 40s. You can check it out. Is out on Kino Lorber. And then also, last but not least, if you want to see Liam Neeson bring down Nixon, you can do it with Mark Felt, the man who brought down the White House, which came and went really quickly. So,
it's too bad that didn't come out at the same time as The Last Jedi, because then the marquee would say Mark Felt The Last Jedi. Actually, it'd be Mark Felt Star Wars The Last Jedi. Never mind.
So, anyway.
No, it's better your way.
Yeah.
That is Blu-rays.
I was going to assume that theater ran out of STR, AR.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
ARS letters.
One more. If you wanted a double feature Blu-ray of 50 Shades Grey and 50 Shades Darker, then your time has come.
Oh, yeah.
It'll get you ready for 50 Shades Freed, which I realized I'm going to go with you, as long as I go with you guys.
What week is that?
I don't remember. It's February or something.
It's Valentine's Day. Miss Grey will see you now.
I don't want to see her.
That's the tagline on the poster.
Mrs. Grey?
Mrs. Grey will see you now.
Yeah.
Miss Grey. I don't fucking know. Some dumb twat will see you now. She is probably
the female
most
audience.
poorly written character ever I've seen on screen.
Yep. But anyway,
worse than a Rob Zombie female character, and that's saying a lot.
Rob Zombie's listening to this going like, finally!
No, Rob Zombie's like, I'm not going to give anybody distinctive voices. I'm just going to have them all cuss.
Oh, anyway.
So is that it?
Yep, that's Blu-rays.
Yeah, just flying through this podcast today.
Yeah.
We watch movies throughout the week, and there's a segment I call What We've Been Watching.
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
Zach, what'd you watch this week? What documentary?
Actually, only one documentary this week. I mentioned it briefly in Film Explosion, but I watched the American Masters episode on Bob Hope.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I'm so attached to that particular subject matter to watch it is I'm extremely critical of it. The documentary's not bad if you don't know anything about Bob Hope. But if you know about him, the fact that they gloss over a lot of the things he did do wrong in life kind of stinks because he was not a perfect man. No one is, but
excuse me, I am. Ryan is even more perfect than I am.
So we're 120% perfect. Sorry.
So there you go. You can just go spit on Bob Hope's grave too. But
They'll do my documentary like he lived, and that's all they're gonna have because
he never died.
I'm gonna piss my excellence all over his grave. Yeah, take it. Take it. Yeah. No hope for you. That's terrible.
Oddly enough, if the author of that was interviewed in that movie would listen to this, he'd think it's funnier than any of Hope's material, because apparently Bob Hope wasn't funny by the end of his life, according to anybody.
yeah, he was senile and old. He died when he was like 101.
People like Christopher Hitchens were evaluating his entire career at the time of his death, saying he was never funny, which is not really true at all.
Okay, say something funny Bob Hope did.
There's
Well, then they just proved their point.
I mean, play a clip, Brad. Something.
What's a classic set from Bob Hope?
Yeah,
Any of the road films? Road to Morocco, Road to Singapore.
Did he write those movies?
No.
you can't find those anywhere,
Really?
They're on DVD.
Oh.
so you don't have to put the clip in.
They're not on Blu-ray, which actually surprises me because
I thought they released those on.
no, Kino Lorber put out the latter 3 ones. Universal still owns 4 of them, and they won't let them go. But anyway, the documentary, like, I felt like it glossed over like the fact that he was a constant philanderizer, like he was fucking anything left and right.
So
Throughout his entire life. It's just like when you build up the image of his 69-year marriage to his wife, and like to have it all kind of like unload in one setting of like, oh yeah, he fucked around all over the place and wasn't there for his kids, is like, okay, why was he our like stand-up
So is
guy?
it true or is it?
It is very true.
No.
This is
Well, you
not-
know, it's the same thing I struggled with, like Charles Lindbergh.
Yeah.
I mean, Charles Lindbergh is known for being an American hero, but in World War II, he is also a fucking Nazi and was a traitor. So
Interesting you bring up war politics, because Bob Hope also, by the time he was in the Vietnam era, wasn't a very popular dude, and in fact the press devoured him, according to the doc, which I never really thought about. But yeah, like his form of humor and like his support of Nixon in general, like didn't do him any favors, like within the 70s. So, but like as I thought in my head, like he was so used to entertaining the troops for so many years that it was more about the troops for him than it was about politics. So, and he gets kind of caught in a political crossfire as a result. So, it's a weird gray area. But so if you know nothing about Bob Hope, it's 2 hours. You can check it out. The reason I would say that Ryan won't watch it is because Woody Allen is interviewed extensively in that movie. So.
So two assholes and on camera at the same time.
I will say it's a lot of things he's saying where I'm just like, dude, like I really do not value your opinion right now. But it's still well directed, so I maybe check it out.
I'm just over here imagining, because you said Flanderizer instead of Philanderer.
Philanderer.
So I'm just like Bob Hope running around saying like,
Oakley dokley.
Oakley dokley.
I'm going to cheat on my wife today. Oakley dokley.
Complete opposite.
I'm going to diddly her.
Philanderizer. I've been up since 5 a.m. Guys, leave me alone. Anyway, I got the Marx Brothers collection on Blu-ray, so I was able to peep that out. And what kind of stinks is that it's only the ones that Universal owns. So it's Coconuts, Animal Crackers, Monkey Business.
Animal Crackers is really good.
It is good. Duck Soup and Horse Feathers. Horse Feathers is my favorite just because it's...
Is Duck Soup their most popular one?
I think it is, like, just by like film geeks and whatnot, because it's the one that has the most semblance of a plot. Like if you watch those early ones, they don't really have a plot. It's just an excuse for them to do their vaudeville routines, which is fine because they're fucking funny.
Real Nerds should do a movie called Dick Soup.
Oh my god, there's so many dicks in here.
But anyway, like what was more fascinating than anything else, besides rewatching movies I'd watched before, is that the Animal Crackers specifically is a newly restored version with footage that had never been released before. So that they pulled out of a British print. So there's extra dialogue in the Captain Spaulding song, and the print looks amazing. Like especially like after we recalibrated my TV, or got the full pixel thing going. So it's good, and it's only $21 on Amazon right now. So if you're interested in some good films on Blu-ray, I'd check those out. I watched A Slight Case of Murder, which is a Edward G. Robinson film that I hadn't seen in a while because I was trying to watch some gangster films and ended up going a different direction. But Slight Case of Murder is a satire of Prohibition, where a guy who was big during Prohibition because he got everybody beer that didn't taste great has to deal with the fact that Prohibition is over, and so he decides to go legitimate. And as the years pass, he ends up in bankruptcy or like having to come up with $400,000 to save his business because he doesn't realize his beer tastes like shit, and no one around him will tell him. And at the same time, he's trying to hold a swanky party in upstate New York and trying to avoid dealing with his future son-in-law cop. So it's wackiness, and Edward G. Robinson is actually funny in it. Like it's a lean 80 minutes, so you're not like sitting there wondering like when it's gonna end. So, you know, if you're in the mood for a brisk watch, you can go ahead and check that out. Really, the only other thing that I saw this week was Downsizing on New Year's Eve, with Matt Damon, directed by Alexander Payne. That trailer sucks because it doesn't sell what that movie is.
Yeah, it's one of my least favorite trailers of the year.
Yeah, here's the thing though, like the movie that it isn't a perfect movie. So if anybody doesn't know what Downsizing is, it's Matt Damon gets small and or smaller.
Just kidding. I like Matt Damon a lot.
Matt Damon gets smaller and lives in a small community because it's the future where we've learned how to shrink humans down. The catch is that once you shrunk, you can't be unshrunk. Like you can't go back to normal size, so it's a permanent effect. And it's basically a human drama with bigger than life set pieces and production design to satisfy the sci-fi narrative. And it also is a film about how the world is about to die and how we suck for treating immigrants poorly. The standout of the film is a Vietnamese woman named Hong Chow who plays a
That's a real name.
Yeah, it is her. It's real. I like your awkward. Oh,
I'm just kidding.
She plays a Vietnamese immigrant who her government, because she was a protester, they forced her to be shrunken, and then they shipped her and a bunch of other dissenters in a TV box that was poked with holes, and she's the only one that survived. And then and as a result, she loses a leg and has to clean up people's houses in the ritzy community of the small town. And she meets Matt Damon through that whole scenario, and then it becomes a quest to find out like why the Earth is dying. It's a lot of ideas, and not every one of them works. Again, it's very long, so it sucks that not every idea can be executed properly with all that time you're given. But it's funny. I don't think it's. I think it's worth a rental. I don't know if it's worth a big screen watch, although that production design's amazing. Like it's very good looking.
I don't know. I wasn't interested when I saw the trailers. I mean, if it was the only movie, it was our movie of the week, I'd see it. But because I don't have to, I don't want to.
Is it better production design than Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Because that's pretty good.
Is there a giant ant in it?
No, but
do they sleep in Lego?
It's hard to. Well, I don't want to give away the one giant thing that's in there, but it's pretty cool. But there's there's just a lot of like unique things they do with it without using too much CGI, because that could be the easiest route to go down. The plus note, though, this is one of my new favorite Christoph Waltz performances because he doesn't play a bad guy and he doesn't play like an avenging hero. He's a laid-back Serbian playboy.
You're gonna be shrunk down.
He's just like, we're going to party all night, Mr. Damon. We're going to party all night, every night. I'm a Serbian, even though I'm actually Austrian. And Udo Kier's in it, and he plays his brother, and it's really fun. So, but yeah, like, I don't know, like it's not the slapstick comedy they're selling it, but I don't know if the film you're gonna get is any better. So, it's probably my least favorite Alexander Payne film by far. So, anyway, that's all I watched this week.
Brett?
So actually a couple weeks ago I watched a new Van Damme movie called Kill 'Em All. And I joked around that the trailer is just him fighting his way out of a hospital, and the movie is him fighting his way out of a hospital.
Is it an hour and a half of it?
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome.
I mean, it's bookended by so Peter Stormare is this like FBI agent, and he's interviewing this nurse at the hospital because she was a hostage in the situation that he was fighting out from. And so they think he's like this international assassin, but she's trying to explain like, no, he's a hero. He saved my life, and this is like, chronologically, like this is what happened. So they're trying to throughout the movie, they're trying to set up like, is he this international criminal, or is he actually like this good guy trying to save people? And then it's just that back and forth for like an hour and a half until there's a twist at the end. So it's just a big revenge story with Van Damme fighting all these like stunt guys in a hospital.
Nice.
So
is any good?
Yeah.
See, to me, like Van Damme fighting for a long time sounds like fun.
I mean, he doesn't fight enough. Like, yeah, that all takes place over the hour and a half, but like most of it's the nurse recounting her story to these FBI agents who don't believe her in all the cliche ways. And then, the movie thinks it's so clever with its twist at the end when you're like, well, I don't care what happened up to that point, so, yeah, whatever. But, yeah, Van Damme's good in it. Like, he's... Like, I don't want to say, like, everyone else isn't taking the movie seriously, but he's the one who feels like he's the most serious actor in the movie. And then, like Peter Stormare's character seems very, like, heightened, like, he might be in a comedy. So, I don't know. It's, yeah. And then I also watched Middleman. With Jim O'Heir. It feels like an indie movie that's a satire, like that's.
So it doesn't need to be on a top 10 list.
It's making a point about the state of comedy.
I tried to do the Groucho Marx eyebrow roll. I can't do it, but
it's like trying to make a commentary on like I think the state of like comedy across history, how comedy used to be very proper and like jokes were invented like
more constructed,
whereas now the comedy's devolved into like dick jokes and like subversive humor
and
big
extreme
triumphant
gags.
Veiny ones.
Yeah, like people back then tried, and now they're like just settling for like whatever's funny. That's what I got out of it,
and I actually see that out of it. And I watched it when it first popped up on Netflix later last year, but I agree with you in that sense. Like, I think what I appreciated about it to get it on that list is that it feels a lot more confident than it could have felt. Because at the end of the day, like, it's not necessarily an interesting subject to anyone unless you're like an utter dork.
Yeah, and that's why the framework around that is this like middle management guy who his mom dies and he inherits a bunch of money and her assets. He takes the car and like his big life goal is to be a comedian in Vegas, and he loves like George Burns and who else?
Jack Benny and
yeah. So he has tapes of all their comedy, and so he like heads to Vegas, and along the way he's very like repressed guy. Mm-hmm. Like his worldview is very small, and his view of comedy is very like limited to like old time comedy. And then he picks up a hitchhiker who basically is the devil, and he sells his soul to the devil to become like his whole goal is to become a famous comedian, not just a comedian. So he gets to be famous, but he loses a ton of he gets his whole like life upended in the process through a bunch of series of murders and stuff that he becomes an accomplice to, and
which then ends up becoming part of his act.
Yeah, like the murders, his act is funnier because he's just saying like he's just confessing in front of everybody like I just murdered this guy, and that's the commentary on like the humor is like, oh, dark comedy is so popular these days that you could tell someone that you're confessing a murder and people just think you're joking around. Even though he's got like this bloodstained shirt and everything, and like this cop pulls him over, and the cop just exists by quoting movie references like Taxi Driver, and
it's
like all of his lines of dialogue are just movie quotes.
At some point, the film becomes less grounded in reality, which
Yeah.
by the time you get to the end, you're pretty convinced that this is some kind of form of hell, like that he's living in.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Like at one point, the hitchhiker he picks up, like he kills that one woman, and then he says, like, well, she was mouthing off to the afterlife, him. So I'm like, oh yeah, he's the devil. Okay, and this is all in his head. So spoiler alert, halfway through.
Never watch it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I like it.
I mean, the acting's good from Jim
From
O'Hare.
yeah. And the guy who plays his
Eugene from The Walking Dead is like the shitty comedian, like the great shitty comedian at the truck stop.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just a cliche like shitbag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but again, I appreciate that its confidence level is above and beyond what that film could have been in different hands. So, is it the best film ever? No, but
I didn't say it
yeah.
was. And
No.
or accused of trying to be. I just
Yeah.
as far as an entertaining watch, I was like,
Not that either.
yeah.
I like the imagery at the very end too, like just like the way he's like sitting in that chair and whatnot. It's just from a photography standpoint, I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, cool.
And then I also watched The Toys That Made Us.
I watched the He-Man episode.
Just that one?
Yep.
So you jumped ahead of the other two?
Well, because when I was growing up, I really liked the He-Man. I remember I had this skunk guy, and so I just watched that one because what are the first two, Star Wars and
Barbie?
Yeah, I'm good with it. Star Wars, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, even the Barbie one I was fascinated
it's
by.
interesting.
Like,
I mean,
like you said, like some of the stuff they thought up for those dolls was just like, what?
Yeah.
What's the
so you
one
saw
now?
you saw the one I was talking about where she goes through puberty.
Well, I watched all four of
Yeah,
them, but
so-
what was the fourth one though? I can't.
Oh, G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, yeah. But there's supposed to be 8 of them. I hope that one of those 8 is the turtle line because that was a huge. And I'm sure Transformers probably
actually,
another
I
one.
thought of you today when I was at Toys R Us. They have the Technodrome like Mega Block,
Yeah,
and it's amazing.
I know.
The expensive as well.
Yeah, it's like, is it still like $150?
Yeah.
They are doing Transformers for that show because they showed a picture of them interviewing Michael Bay, and they said like see him in our Transformers episode. I'm like, oh cool, maybe we'll get an explanation out of him. I doubt it, but
I'm trying to think of what other big toy lines would be like the other episodes.
No.
Maybe Lego? Would they do Lego one?
connects.
No, I think the He-Man one was told a really fun way. Like I think it like visually it's really cool.
Yeah,
Beanie Babies.
Like I grew up with He-Man, but I didn't. You know.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of the like. I mean, really, none of those 4 was like I grew up a Turtles and Batman guy, so but it's still fascinating. Like it's fascinating to hear how those things came to be because you just assume like I think I don't know if I said it last week, but it seems like all these people you trust like know what they're doing. Everyone's just making up as they go.
Oh yeah, they have no idea.
Well, those kids aren't going to read the origin comic book, but we also have an animated series.
Yeah, that one guy in He-Man, he just is like, oh, we didn't tell you about the 2 1-hour cartoon specials.
Yeah. Yeah, just give him a giant tiger. Who cares?
This is like the version of just like, pick my brain here.
Yeah.
The Star Wars one, I like how they're just like, oh yeah, how are we gonna market Jar Jar?
Yeah, that's sad. Like, just assuming that the line's gonna do well because the movie's supposed to be great.
I also like the idea that George Lucas has like a bodyguard, like a bodybuilder bodyguard.
Yeah, and I was
strong on lawyers.
I always thought from day one that he like got those toy rights, but it wasn't until the Phantom Menace that he got the really good piece of the pie.
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe it was just the toy. Like he probably had merchandise, like really good deals on all the other merchandise.
Yeah.
But the toy one, he probably got stiffed on until Phantom Menace. Anyway, that's what I watched.
So I got to go back a few because I haven't been here. Well, 2 weeks of not telling what I've been watching, but I'll just highlight a few. I watched a movie called Laura, which is a really great film noir about this woman who is murdered and a detective who's investigating it and the people that love her. And the detective becomes enamored with her portrait above the fireplace, and he starts hanging out at her apartment, and he becomes really obsessed with solving her murder. I don't want to spoil what happens in the movie. I mean, even though the twist is about halfway through, but It's still a really great one. Vincent Price is in it, and he plays like a young debonair guy. Jean Tierney as Laura, she's beautiful. That's a beautiful woman. Mm-hmm. And the Blu-ray has a A&E biography about her, and it's pretty sad. She suffered from depression and a lot of mental problems.
Did you? What company put out the Blu-ray for Laura?
20th Century.
Really? So is it? It's not one of their archives, is it?
No, it's called their Signature Classics line.
Ooh.
I just because of the movies I buy on Amazon, I get recommendations every once in a while. I had never even heard of it.
Yeah,
and
I've heard of Laura. I haven't seen it, but like it's one of Vincent Price's. It's how do I describe it? It's a role that he did before House of Wax, so he wasn't pigeonholed in the horror role yet.
And he's great in it.
Yeah. That's from what I've heard and seen. Like I've seen clips from it on Vincent Price biographies.
So I don't want to spoil it because the twist is pretty interesting, and it's a really and it's shot really well. Watching another documentary on it, I guess a lot. If you've watched enough film noir, you've seen some of it before, but this was like the first one that really took that genre and because sometimes it doesn't make much sense. I mean, what is the Maltese Falcon?
Yeah.
It's but the movies are great, but sometimes their plot devices are a little unusual. Kiss Me Deadly. But yeah, no, it's really great. I also watched Hell Night, which is an old Linda Blair slasher film.
Scream Factory.
That finally put out. Scream Factory finally put it out. I haven't seen it in years, and it's really slow moving. And I think only like 5 people get murdered in it, and it's an hour and 42 minutes, and that's really long for a slasher movie.
Oh yeah, Terror Train's not even that long.
I think Terror Train's 84 minutes. So it's fun, and it's just a fun movie. It's not like the acting's really bad in it. The characters are even dumber than characters in Friday the 13th. But if you're looking for like a fun slasher movie, it's one of those movies that's pretty fun to watch with friends, like watching it by yourself and just sitting there watching it. Yeah. But they do have a great interview with Linda Blair. It's like 40 minutes long, where she talks about that kind of her career. So it's fun. What else did I watch?
Did it have anything else on it, like in terms of like commentary?
Oh yeah, there's a commentary by the director.
Good.
and I think there's 5 or 6 interviews. It's like 4 hours of features.
Hell Night's a film I've never seen before, but it's one that like I've seen stills from, where I'm like, I want to see that someday.
So I mean, I guess to pick up back, I watched The Dark Knight in 4K, and yeah. So when you take film elements and watch them, and it's been up, it's amazing. I didn't bring it, buddy. So there's like little things that, so the film already is shot really well. So when you put the IMAX stuff in it, when Batman's like, Kellen, it's dead. So when you put the IMAX stuff on it, like the depth is so much farther. Like the details you can actually see on Batman's costume when the camera's panning around. On the Joker, you can see all the different colors of the face paint on his hands and his stitching in his in his costume, and it looks great. Even the Harvey Dent's like CGI looks really great. You can see more like muscle tissue, and so it looks great. And the movie's already great, so just seeing it with more clarity and more color really enhances the experience and the sound, because it's back to the 7.1, and it's so on 4K it only has the movie and the sound, so everything's amped up, and so that's great. So yeah, if you get the Dark Knight, it's worth the upgrade. And the last thing I watched Dunkirk finally, and it's a really good movie. It's I love that it doesn't really have a narrative to it. It's kind of just like a driving force constantly. With the soundtrack is that pretty much throughout the whole film.
It's Nolan's stopwatch.
I mean, it's just a constant state of dread.
Yeah, and there's like, oh well, here's Mark Rylance and them going across, and here's the fighting guys and pilots, and they're fighting the Germans.
One Direction guy.
Yeah, Oh, I don't even know who that is.
My sister told me that. I was like, really?
Did she?
Did you pick up on the?
Oh yeah, I see what you're insinuating, Ryan. It's true. I do love One Direction.
Yeah.
Did you pick up on the time stuff?
The what?
The time differences.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the movie's shot really well. It's beautiful. It's really cool too, because just like the Dark Knight 4K and just like the Blu-ray too, it changes aspect ratio when it goes to IMAX and not being IMAX. And what's cool is so much of Dunkirk is shot in IMAX, so the plane fights are amazing.
And it rarely changes the format in between during the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it's only noticeable if you know it's happening, because the black lines eventually go away.
Right.
So it looks really impressive when the 4K is like blown up to your whole screen. You're like, this is awesome. And stuff with when Bane had, the mask over him, you can see like writing on it and. Yeah. Okay, buddy.
When Tom Hardy.
Yes.
Not Bane. I've got to take down the Nazis.
Yes.
Hey Tom, do you want to be in my war movie? Like, I don't know. You get to wear a mask.
I'll do it.
When do we start shooting, Chris?
And I'll watch them burn. So yeah,
when the Germans are in ashes.
I know some people were saying too. I know, just going back to the Dark Knight, that like his Batman voice hasn't aged well. It never bothered me.
If you think about it, like he has to disguise his voice without like a computer modulator. Like you'd have to scream your throat out in order to like hide your voice. I mean, you're one of the most famous people in the world. You can't just like slightly change it.
Yeah, so I don't know, it never bothered me. And
he's also trying to like terrorize people.
Yeah,
you're not going to do that by being like, don't steal. Yeah.
But I love Harvey Dent's arc in that movie. I think it's so awesome.
Yeah.
I like Matt Batman.
And I mean, how shocking it is for them to kill Rachel Dawes. That's still a pretty shocking moment to me.
I remember when we watched it, like for the first time at the theater, when that happened, we all gasped. We were like, "What the fuck, man?"
I loved it. It was like a different place.
Yeah.
Like, swap But yeah, she's not like a canon character, so it's easy to kill her.
Yeah.
Like,
Rachel.
she wasn't in the comics, so we can get rid of her.
Yeah, and I mean, Heath Ledger's Joker's amazing. And that's what I watched this week. So yeah, see Dunkirk in 4K if you can. I don't know what's wrong with my kid right now.
Really attached to those cell phones.
This week on Real Nerds Podcast, we saw I, Tonya. And the reason I said I didn't go see Insidious is I'll start it off is because I thought I, Tonya was so great that it deserved its own show. So yeah, I should go see this movie. It's a really interesting way of telling a biography. I guess it doesn't really. I guess it kind of tells her whole biography. It's more of. Yeah, I guess it does. It's unconventional.
We should also point out that it's not like an actual biography.
Yeah,
it's based on different sources mixed together.
Yeah. So Margot Robbie's great. They try to make her ugly, and she can only be so ugly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's only so much you can do before you're like, I give up.
Yeah.
She's got the braces on, but
yeah. But yeah, Zach.
Should people go see I, Tonya? Yeah, absolutely. It was wonderful. If it weren't for the fact that we didn't get to see it before Film Explosion, I could have seen this going on the list easily. It's really good. Sebastian Stan's actually really good in the movie too. Like Roby's great and Janie's great, but I was surprised at Sebastian Stan's turn as Jeff Galooly. So I would definitely go ahead and check it out. And based on our crowd that Brad and I saw it in, it's going to do some pretty good business. So, Brad?
I mean, if you listen to the show last week, it was one of my top 10 of last year. So obviously, yeah, I liked it. It's great. Like I said before, it's a creative presentation. That quote from the trailer, it's the Goodfellas of. It has the same like stylistic choices that Scorsese made, and to great effect. And that's a cultural event that like I sort of paid attention to growing up. So it was like way oversaturated at the time, and I thought watching this I'd be like, oh god, more of this. And no, it's a really fun way to make this palatable.
Yeah.
So definitely go see it.
Here's a trailer for Tonya.
The haters always say, Tonya, tell the truth. Tonya? There's no such thing as truth. Everyone has their own truth.
I was the best figure skater in the world at one point in time.
Call that a clean skate, for Christ's sake?
Do not swear in front of the kids.
I didn't swear, you cunt.
Who's that?
You two fuck yet?
You need to see a wholesome American family.
I don't have a wholesome American family.
You skated like a graceless bull dyke. I was embarrassed for you.
My entire life, I've been told I wouldn't amount to anything. You know what? Maybe I would.
4.8.
How do I get a fair shot here?
We also judge on presentation. Suck my dick.
We're gonna need to even the playing field. I know a guy, shouldn't even be saying his name. Derek.
The press wanted me to be the pile of crap. I never did this. What is going on?
We're with the FBI.
They know something.
What can you tell us about Tonya Harding?
I don't know a Tony Harding.
Aren't you her bodyguard?
When I was a kid, did you ever love me?
I made you a champion, knowing you'd hate me for it. That's the sacrifice a mother makes.
You cursed me. America, they want someone to love, but they want someone to hate. I mean, come on. What kind of friggin' person bashes in their friend's knee? Who would do that to a friend?
Stop that.
You know, the soundtrack is great too. It really keeps the movie going. It keeps the movie going, and it's all pretty fun songs. And it's told a really fun way. Even they give that disclaimer at the beginning, and it's like, this is a totally true story. I forget exactly what it says, but it's like told from
ridiculously contradicting
contradicting sources. Or but what was really fascinating about this movie is they didn't play. She didn't play Tonya Harding as like this victim. She, if you remember throughout the whole film, she says, "But that wasn't my fault." And you never really know how much of it is her fault, and you also don't know how much she really did play a part in the Nancy Kerrigan thing. They set it up that she was kind of just around and she didn't know what she was agreeing to. But her life is, it's her mom beating her, and Allison Janney is great as like the horrible mom. You get the first taste of her when she's like at the rink and they said, "Lavana, can you please not cuss around the children?" And she's like, "I'll say where the fuck I want, you little fucking cunt." You're like, whoa.
There's no smoking on the rink. Oh, okay. I'll smoke quietly. In addition to the way they portray Tonya, like the story itself, what I appreciated is that it wasn't about the media circus that the film or that the situation became at that point. Like, it actually focuses on her as a person and to an extent Jeff as a person. And I mean, it doesn't really examine the mom, but like, it'd be so easy to like,
my story's disappearing. I can see.
Yeah. But like, it'd be easy to like examine more of Bobby Cannavale's character from Hard Copy, and their perspective on the events. But it's not important.
It's not important. It's there. And, there's that really heartbreaking scene where she's getting all the, the press is around her and her mom comes in and she says, "I'm proud of you." And I'm, blah, whatever. And she says to her, and she said, "So did you did you know about the attack? And then she realized her mom was like bought or paid off, and it's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because there's that part too where she's getting smashed against the wall and into the mirror, and she's telling the audience like this is happening, and every time she leaves him and comes back, the next scene is always her putting on makeup to cover up, you know, bruises and things like that. And even when she's going to the, it's really subtle, but when she goes to apologize, when she's putting on a clothes, you can see like hand bruises all over her, and
it's very detailed in that. It's very detailed in that account, and then just the camera is beautiful in this film. Like it's an unsung actor in its own right because it's moving at the pace it needs to move. There are times when it feels very Scorsese throughout this entire film, the way the camera's moving. And there was one point where I was like, kind of like, okay, enough of this. But then it stopped, and then when it picked back up again, it made sense. And it was the point when I think it's the first time she left him, and it goes out the door, and he's slumped up against the wall, and then it goes out and down the road. Where I was like, oh, that's just like taking it too far. But then like, as you think about it, like the way it's moving makes sense because that whole event between when the break of the knee happens to those Olympics is a very short period of time in comparison to say the OJ trial, which they allude to at the end of this film as like this media circus will not stop. Like Tonya Harding's a prelude to OJ. Like it's a sampler of the media, how big the media circus can get, which I mean, like, still exists in a form today, but never in the same way that it did 25 years ago. So,
yeah, and the story's told in such a clever way. And it's also heartbreaking because she keeps on going back to him, and you don't understand why. And I think that's why I like the movie so much, is because she made choices for a character you didn't want her to make, and she made them anyways. Mm-hmm. And you realize she's not a character; she's a real person making these things. And when people are in abusive relationships, it's sad. And yeah, and Sebastian's Stan is great in it, and he's like, I never hit her. You know, that's a lie. And then he has that moment at the end. He said, but I ruined her career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as an artist, like that sentence is like so, like the sentence she gets for the movie portrays her as like, yeah, she was around, but she didn't understand what was going on. But like her whole life is skating, and like I would argue this like the same deal. Like, yeah, I'll go to jail. Like I don't like not be able to like make movies anymore.
Yeah, it's
why? Because you broke Max Landis's kneecaps.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Bradley.
I was just around when Zach, did it. So
is she a victim of?
Are you calling me Sean?
Yep.
Of being a bad person, or is she a victim of her circumstances? I don't know.
Well,
because I think there's a little bit to it. But when you're growing up that abusive, I mean, how do you even function as a normal person?
She definitely continually invited like ill will into her life. Like she had 3 or 4 outs. She kept like falling back into the same trap. So it is her fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, like she didn't.
But does she know any better though? Too, it's hard because we're lucky that hope we don't have that situation. But when you're constantly mentally and physically abused, you might think that's normal. And I think she even has a line where she said, "My dad hit my mom, so what did I know?"
Yeah, we were talking last night about the whole. They point out that Nancy Kerrigan, like, there's a part where she's like, "Oh, Nancy and I were friends," and they show them hanging out and like eating pizza in the hotel room. But like Zach said, with the documentary he saw, to her, Nancy's like her best friend because she's not someone who abuses her. She's just around and doesn't treat her like shit. So to her. But I'm sure to Nancy, it's just like, oh, it's a work acquaintance, and we're just hanging out.
Yeah, and again, the thing I appreciate the most about this film is that even though, having watched the documentary, I'm more aware of all points of view. The way they take this film in the direction that it needs to go, because the interviews with everyone between Tonya, Jeff, and Sean, all footage from that event, are absolutely bizarre. You can't believe the things that are coming out of Sean's mouth, obviously, because Sean's fucking nuts. But but then you can't believe how Jeff's fooling everyone with his like timid facade, and then to hear, but like, would we know better?
Yeah.
But like, it's interesting how they were able to take the basics of this and turn it into something that's entertaining, if not in a demented way.
Well, yeah.
It's a dark comedy. It's not like a laugh out loud comedy. It's a black comedy about abuse.
Yeah, and Sean is such an idiot, because they're at the rink and she's ready to go. Was it like nationals? And then she had the death threat. And he's like, I called in the death threat. So those guys just ruined her career, ruined her life. Like her mom. Like her mom may have like forced her to be a great skater, but they all played part in making her not being able to skate anymore. And it's sad.
Mm.
But she's not a good person. So it's not like you feel that. I don't know. It's a weird. Would she be a good person if she wasn't abused? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we'll never know that answer. And you'd think she's like old now. I think she's only like 46, 47 now.
She's remarried and has a 7-year-old son. So
yeah, I can't believe she still lives with him. Like,
I
the
know.
card at the end says she lives nearby Jeff. I'm like, are you kidding me?
They're not in like contact or anything, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's just it's a really interesting story, and it's told really cleverly. And you're right. You don't. I don't think you're supposed to like her. You're supposed to admire her skating ability, but as a person, I don't think you're supposed to like her. I don't know.
It's an interesting line to walk on in that regard.
I definitely sympathize with her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's just, but like, no, like, I mean, am I gonna like, want a T-shirt of her? Maybe not, but
yeah. There's another subtle thing that Margot Robbie does in one of the interviews clips, where she kind of like slightly breaks down when she's talking about how she does the triple axel, and then it just kind of pauses. And she's like, excuse me, like. No one ever asked me about this part anymore.
Yeah.
No, that's a great moment.
Yeah.
Too. And her skating to ZZ Top was awesome. Like, there are light moments to this film too. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not all just hitting Margot Robbie. It's. I was telling Brad, like, I loved how it captured the '90s really well, in a way that like the People vs. O.J. Simpson miniseries did not, which it had all the ability to, did not. Like. Tonya, because it's shot on film, just because of the way they're lighting shots and everything feels very much of the period, with the exception of a few moments, like a few key shots. Like when Derek gets apprehended at the...
those guys are idiots.
Yeah. When he gets apprehended, like there's a shot of you see the police lights in the background, and it's out of focus, but it's to that song that he's been listening to each time. Gloria, yeah. And it's just a beautiful shot, and then it cuts back to something that feels similar to the '90s, and that great line about like if you're gonna pull out a hit, don't put it on Visa or something like that.
The fact that he like moved his car every 15 minutes
yeah,
in a completely different
camera.
city.
Yeah,
but he's always in frame.
In a different city, even. It's
yeah.
like,
to not raise suspicion.
Yeah.
Also, and I had to point it out to Brad, but Bobby Cannavale from Boardwalk Empire and Jumanji plays a hard copy editor, which hard copy was a show back then. But he's a lot tanner than he should be, and I think that's part of the joke. But it also feels weird. I don't know. Like, am I buying too much into this?
I think he's supposed to be a skeezy producer, and that's why he looks like that.
He just looks.
'Cause he also had his hair slicked back and everything.
It's just like I was just like I didn't know Bobby Cannavale was that tan.
See, I used to watch A Current Affair with Maureen O'Boyle.
So anyway, just an observation. And Jandy's good. If we get any recognition for this film, like come award season, I hope at least she gets.
I think Margot Robbie will. I mean,
hope
her
so.
performance is pretty great,
and it's actually picking up steam in the Guild stuff. So maybe we'll see some momentum there. But
she deserves
Sebastian Stan also, like, God damn it, like he disappeared. Like he ain't no Winter Soldier of mine. He's just a mustachioid freak in that movie. He fucking rocks.
Yeah, well, even the guy who plays Sean is pretty great.
Yeah. Which I've tried to look something up he's been in, and I can't find anything. He must be a newcomer. So.
Always 4 steps ahead.
Yeah. Or when they're driving. Actually, that was a really funny moment when he's like, she's not going to get the last word. And it's like a montage of him being like, I'm a counterterrorist expert and blah, blah. And then he just walks in. He's like, fuck you.
Sean, we looked up all those things, and you're not.
But I am.
But I am. But
you're not. But I am.
Yeah. Sure, my mom taped over my favorite episode of Star Trek to record the CNN footage, but I'm doing pretty good today.
Yeah, it's great. It's fun.
Yep. Next week, are we seeing The Post?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I think it opens
Does that come out next week.
Yeah, I think it opens nationwide next week.
Cool.
2017 never ends for us, guys. It just keeps going and going.
Is that a 2017 film?
Yeah, because it came out last year.
It opened up in like 4 theaters
just to qualify.
For awards.
But it's...
Why don't they just open it nationwide?
It's Spielberg. I don't know. Maybe the BFG did such terrible numbers that they're like,
no,
we gotta.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I did that. If someone knows, please tell us why.
Well, I mean, I guess they're just trying to make more money would be my only guess. So until next week, bye.
Bye?
Balls. Thank you for listening to this episode of Real Nerds Podcast. Real Nerds Podcast is a production of Nebulous Visions Multimedia. Thank you to Sparks Mandrill and Plan 9 Studios for our kick-ass theme song. Also, if you're in the Denver area and you're looking for a cool place to see movies, we see them at the Alamo Draft House in Littleton and now also in Sloan's Lake. Thank you to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics for supplying us with all our comic needs, especially you, Andrew. You know who you are. And a big shout out to James's mom. I'm giving you an electronic hug that you can feel through the airwaves. Thanks for listening, and have a nice day.